Oh, a coupon, you say?
God damn!
$20 off. You just have to order $500 worth. I am in.
I already had $500 in my cart.
I'm ready. Actually, it's funny because Lee and I are so excited for Saturday because we have a basketball game that we're going to go to, a SDSU basketball game. And we have the mother-in-law watching the kids. So they're going to go to Grammy's house for the whole day, and they're staying the night.
Ooh, I was going to ask.
Dude,
Yeah,
and
nice.
it used to be that on Saturday games, it was our drunk games, before before kids. Yeah. And they were always so fun, and it was like the best time ever. And so Lee was so excited. He's like, there's a Saturday drunk game. The kids are actually old enough now that it's not such a hassle to ask somebody to watch them, especially overnight.
Yeah.
So we're doing it. We're so excited. And we keep like fucking prepping for it. We're like, after the game, do you want to go get dumplings? Like Chinese dumplings? And we're like looking at the menu like, I'm going to get the pork ones. And then he's like, okay, then we're going to come back home. Don't plan anything. We're going to come back home. We're going to get high and we're going to order Uber Eats. Like, we're so excited for food.
That's adulthood, man.
I'm so excited. He's like, we could order anything off of Uber Eats. And I'm like,
ooh, baby.
Anything?
Talk Uber Eats to me. Oh, my God.
So I can't wait for Saturday. I'm
Yeah.
so excited. Literally, it's been all we talk about all week long.
That literally does sound like a really good time, though.
I know,
Like
I'm
just
so
relaxing and with your boo thing and just having a good time.
Yeah.
Sounds fun.
Actually, this is a great segue into my goddamn.
Oh, what
so
is
do you
it?
just want to kick it off?
Yeah, let's go.
So I've decided since New Year's that
Is this a resolution?
it's
Okay, a light one.
I hate resolutions.
It's a soft resolution.
And yeah, exactly. Very soft. And I debated even using this for a goddamn because like I probably won't stick with it. But I've decided that I'm going to cut back a lot on drinking.
okay.
And I already only drank like once a week as is, like every weekend basically is when I drank. Because before, during COVID, I was drinking like every night. And so I cut that back, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But the reason is because after New Year's, I had so much anxiety. Like the morning after, the hangxiety is what they call it, right? The morning after drinking, it was like 3 days of just feeling like I'm crawling out of my fucking skin.
Oh, no.
Like I couldn't sleep at night no matter what I did.
Oh, no.
I just felt like grumpy and uncomfortable and just couldn't get my fucking life together.
Yeah.
And I've been like that before. Like it's no big surprise or anything, but this last time I was like, this is irritating. Like it's not even worth it. The
Yeah.
drunk before, not that New Year's Eve wasn't fun or whatever, like sitting in my house drinking.
Yeah.
Whatever.
You're with friends.
Yeah, I was with a few friends, very small group of friends.
That's right.
So I didn't spread COVID everywhere.
Also, we all tested beforehand because
We really did. We did like a COVID party. And
Yeah.
I'm so sad though, because we were supposed to like karaoke and stuff and that got canceled. But that's okay. We're going to do it. We're going to make it up whenever the fuck it's safe enough to make it up. But we kept it like all the families that already were in contact the previous week.
Yeah.
Anyway, so after that, I was like, this is the last straw. I'm going to try to actually make myself better because it sucks for like 3 days. You feel like you're dying every second, like panic attacks, not feeling
Yeah.
great, all this other shit. So this Saturday is supposed to be this fun drunk game. And I'm like, I'll drive because like I want to stick to it. And it's
Yeah.
literally will have only been a week. It'll
you
be
almost made it.
yeah, it'll be like normally if I was going to drink again, it would be on a Saturday. But why? Why did I pick
Yeah.
this week to start it?
That's
like,
funny.
I didn't do it intentionally either. It's
Yeah.
just like I felt like such shit that I was like, okay, I'm not going to. Like if there's events and stuff where we have to drink, I just won't drink. I've done it before. I've been pregnant before.
Yeah.
I've
It's
been the DD
fine.
before.
It's just
yeah.
not.
as fun.
Yeah.
Right?
It's not what you want to do. Yeah.
But the basketball games I go to all the time and stay sober also. So like those won't be that bad. But it's the idea of the day. Like normally you would go drink, you'd end up at a bar, go do all this stuff. But I'm like, even going to a bar, it sounds so exhausting to me. Like I want to come home, get high and eat Uber Eats.
yeah. Yeah.
And like snuggle on the couch.
Your idea of a good time has changed.
It has. At least right now. At least
Yeah.
for right now.
Yeah. That's kind of where we were at when we stopped drinking, too.
Yeah.
It was like, as soon as we planned it, it was like we went to Vegas the next week. We're like,
Yeah.
what the fuck were we thinking?
Yeah, I know. It's hard.
Yeah.
Well, and if you wait, though, like, there's always going to be another event. Like, we all do so
Yeah.
much goddamn shit.
Yeah. There's
That-
always another thing where you're like, oh, but it'd be fun to drink at so-and-so's wedding.
Yeah.
Or whatever other thing there is.
Yeah.
Or Saturday.
Which, I mean, I'm not going to, like, not drink, but I just need a little fucking break because the
I feel ya.
anxiety was not okay.
That's good, though. It's
Yeah.
good to give your body a little break. And then when you go back to it, if you decide to go back to it, your fucking tolerance will be reset.
When? Yeah, it'll be reset. It'll be like after you give birth and you're
you
like,
give birth.
holy shit, I had a beer and I'm smashed.
Exactly. And you're like, ooh, okay, I can handle this again. And then you don't feel like quite as much shit because your body
Yeah.
isn't like
Yeah.
literally alcohol poisoned.
Also, it's interesting you say that because out of nowhere, like in the last couple of months, every time I drink beer, the next day my stomach hurts so bad.
Oh,
like I don't
no.
feel good. No matter how much I drink, it could be 2 beers, it could be 7 beers, and I will
Uh-oh.
feel the same. I know. I'm like, am I getting the old allergic gene where all of a sudden I can't drink beer?
Yeah,
What the fuck? So then I started drinking seltzers and then I'd feel fine. Like,
it might be.
yeah, I know. I'm like, fuck. And then I'm like, I'll just drink Bloody Marys. And I'm like, this isn't how it works. This is how you become an alcoholic.
I'll just switch to the hard stuff.
Yeah, because then my tummy doesn't hurt the next day. So
Yeah.
we're just going to take a little pause.
Oh, maybe it is like the gluten or whatever. It starts ciders or something.
Maybe. And my fucking delicate, fragile ecosystem just can't handle it anymore. I swear. I'm like, I'm allergic to everything. I don't fucking know.
Oh.
But like not diagnosed allergic to everything. It's just like, oh yeah, I got hives. I'll just eat it again. My throat's kind of scratchy. I'll just keep eating it. I really like pineapples though.
It makes it hard to breathe a little bit, but it's worth it.
I'll just wheeze through it. Oh, God.
Well, good for you.
Yeah.
I like
we'll
it.
see how it's not. I'm going to be next week like, oh, I'm so hungover.
Yeah.
But,
Listen, I'll be happy to have you back when you come back.
oh, yeah. I mean, if you were like, I'm going to have a girls' night tomorrow night, I'd be like, yeah, let's do it. It's fine.
I can make an exception.
See, it's like not this weird, hard, solid thing in my head,
Yeah.
but it is. And
It's
I
a
don't know.
soft resolution.
Yeah, I just don't want to feel like shit.
Yeah.
Emotionally. I have been doing a lot of emotional work, peeps.
Good.
I am a
Work
new
on yourself.
person.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Do you want to hear some good happy stuff?
Hell yeah.
So, my goddamn is kind of exciting.
Ooh, I'm excited.
I mean, it's not that exciting.
Okay, I'll tone it back.
Okay, bring it down. Bring it down. I was driving home the other day and a big fluffy husky
Okay.
was like out in the road
And
this
survived.
one was alive.
yeah, oh my
Okay?
God.
Yeah.
You've traumatized us. So
I
I
know.
don't think we can go back there.
All the dead dogs that I've seen have been made up by this one. Okay.
Okay,
It was
okay.
the fluffiest, sweetest little puppy dog, and it was like a white and whatever gray. It was a husky. You fucking know
I
what they
got
look
you.
like.
Yeah. I'm with you.
And it had a collar on, but it had no one in sight.
So you were like, mine.
Yes, and I stopped the car and I was like, I should
Get in.
I should do something. Like I should. It has a collar.
Wow.
I should
Really?
do something.
I'm
I should
impressed.
get this dog and call the number on its collar, right?
Yeah.
Had my kids in the car, and so first I was like, let's make sure this dog is like chill, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I rolled
for
down my window and I was like, hey dog,
You chill?
you chill. And the dog like was like, fuck yeah, person, and like ran over to me and just sat down like right outside my door in the road, like just sat down like, oh, are we gonna fucking play now? And I was like, well, god damn it, now I
I
have to stop. Like,
Love him.
yeah,
Her?
her. It was a pink collar, so I'm assuming it's a girl, but did not learn the name. But
Okay.
I was like, all right, I gotta get this dog now, right? Because it's gonna get hit by a car or something.
God, we
and I
can't do
can't
this
have
again.
that.
No.
And I'm making up for leaving the other dog to the other person.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna
This is your moment.
I'm gonna take responsibility for this one.
Yeah.
So
I got this one, guys.
I got this one.
It's
one
alive.
Seems, this one seems friendly and easy. It has a collar. I'm in.
It's
Probably
standing.
microchipped. It's fine.
Yeah.
So I pull over and my kid's like, what's going on? And I was like, there's a dog over there. And he's like, oh, cool. Fucking, we got a new dog, right?
Uh-huh.
And I get out and I was like, hey, dog. And the dog like ran over to me and was just so fucking sweet and she like kissing my face. And I was like, oh, you're so sweet. And so I was like petting it and stuff. And this lady was like, well,
That's my dog.
no, right before I got out of my car, this lady was like, is that your dog? 'Cause she pulled up and was like,
Oh.
is that your dog? And I was like, no. And then I got out of my car to be like, I'll go fucking take it, right? And she drove away. She parked like 2 houses up. And so I got out, I called the dog to me, and the dog was a super fucking sweetheart. And I was looking at the tag, no name, no fucking phone number.
Which is a
Why
tag?
did you put a collar on it? The tag was like, it had like an Apple symbol on it. So I don't know if it was like a tracker or something.
Oh, maybe it's one of those things that like opens the puppy door.
Oh.
You know, like one of those tags.
Yeah.
And then when they walk up to it, the
It's like
puppy
a
door
sensor,
opens. Yeah.
maybe.
Maybe he was supposed to be out, or she.
Yeah, but then,
Yeah.
dude, your
I
dog's
know,
going to
I
get
know.
hit by a fucking car.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, dumb.
Yeah.
And also the dog was running around like it had never been outside before.
Like, yes!
Like, fuck yeah, I'm going to sniff over here, right?
Well, pee here and here and here and here.
Yeah.
What's this? I'll pee here again. This is great.
And so I was like holding on to the collar and I was like, God damn it. And the lady had parked like 2 houses up or something. And so she was like, is there a name on the tag? And I was like, no.
Apple.
This is Apple. And I was like, no, there's nothing on it. Like, there's no phone number or anything. Do you know any of your neighbors? Do they have a dog? Because obviously the dog is here. Your house is right here.
Gotta be close.
Do you know anybody?
Detective work at its prime.
I'm going to start with witness number 1.
Yeah.
You.
Exhibit A.
You live in
motherfucker.
this neighborhood.
Yeah.
Do you know this dog?
You think at that point she'd be like, I know that dog.
Yeah, I would think that. But then she started telling me, she was like, well, they have a lab. And I'm like, irrelevant. But like, okay. And telling me all the other houses and all the dogs.
And its name is Russell.
Literally, yeah. She's like telling me other houses that had other dogs. And I'm like, okay, but like, do any of them
Have a
look like
husky?
this?
Named Apple.
Are any of them this dog? Have you seen this dog before? Because now my job got harder, but I'm committed. Like, I
Yeah.
got out of the fucking car.
Yeah.
I can't just be like, sorry, dog, and get back in, right?
Yeah.
Like, tie it to a fence. I don't know. It didn't have a leash. It was just a collar. It was a whole thing. And I was like, God damn it. Like, I'm going to actually have to take it to get microchipped or whatever to, like, see if it
Scan
has
it.
a fucking
Yeah.
thing. As I'm thinking of all of these things, this guy comes out of a house literally across the street. Like, his garage door opens and he starts walking over. And I was like, is this your dog? And he goes, yeah, that's my puppy. And I was like, oh, thank God. Let go of the dog, thinking it's going to just go to the guy.
No!
'Cause it just immediately went to me.
Oh my God.
It just immediately went to me. Like, it came as soon as I called it. It was like, oh my God, I
Aaron.
fucking love people. And I was like, cool. And so I let go of the dog, and it just fucking did not. It was like, not today. It just ran. And I was like, bye. And I got in my car and I drove away.
Shut the fuck up. No. Were you like, sorry?
No.
Aaron!
I mean,
I guess it was your first practice run, so we can't be that too upset.
the dog is gonna come. Like, it's not a busy street, and it's like right
What
there.
the fuck? Why are you trying to justify it? Because had you been thinking, would that had still been your move? Was that you thinking? I guess is a new way for me to rephrase that question.
I mean,
Was it
yeah,
your
I was
OG
like, I was
plan?
thinking, oh, the owner is here. The dog is going to go to the owner. And also, I don't want to be holding this man's dog. Like, it's not my dog. It's his dog. I don't want to hold his dog. It's not my dog. Bye. Here's your dog. Let go. Deuces.
Have you ever had a dog run away?
No.
That explains a lot.
Well, yes, I have, but I've
Okay.
never had someone else catch it. We've always caught him.
It doesn't matter who's catching the dog. If you have ever caught a dog once in your life, they run away. Like, if your dog is running away, they're fucking jacked.
I mean, listen, he didn't go far. I was driving away and I
Did
saw
the guy get his dog?
Yeah, I saw him
Okay.
carrying it like a fucking sack of potatoes.
Do you think, was he like, what the fuck?
I mean, probably. I was like, dog's up there now.
Oh my God. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Had that been Chelsea, because Chelsea fucking books it, and she's
Yeah.
impossible to catch.
Yeah.
You have to bribe her. Like, I have to jump in the car and drive and pop the door open at the prime moment and be like, do you want to go for a ride? And she's got to have a lapse in judgment and be like, fuck yeah, she said the keywords to get in my car. Otherwise, ain't nobody catching that motherfucker, all right?
Listen, this one was a puppy. He's also said, that's my puppy. And I was like, puppies love people. It's going to come back to him. It's going to be fine. That was where my head went. And I got back in the car, though, and my kid was like, Mom,
Where's our dog?
where's the dog? And I was like, oh, that was the owner. Like, we gave him back. And he's like, why didn't we keep it? And I was like, because
Great question. Great question.
his family would have been really sad if we kept it. Like, you can't just keep someone else's dog. It belonged to that guy. And my kid was like, well, but if we had kept it, then we could have had 3 dogs.
Great point. Great point.
Fair point.
Yeah.
But it's
Hard
also
no.
not our dog. Yeah. And then he was like, well, how come you didn't let us get out of the car? Him and his sister, right? And I was like, well,
do you know the time it takes to get you out of a goddamn car, kid?
seriously.
Yeah.
And also wrangling a puppy that's totally not going to run away.
Nightmare.
And so I was like, oh, well, because I don't know if, the dog's friendly or
Nice,
whatever.
yeah.
And he said, and I quote, all dogs are friendly. And I was like, oh, your
Oh, are they?
worldview is so small.
I know. I wish I lived in that space. You know?
Yeah.
Would need therapy.
I know, right? Of course a dog is great. Why wouldn't a dog be great? Dogs are fucking friendly.
I cannot believe you just let that fucking dog go. I'm glad he caught the dog.
Yeah, he got it.
But like,
It went straight like up to the lady. Like it just like ran over to where she was because it was like, cool, another person.
how close was this guy to you when you let him go?
Like 5 feet. What?
That's not that bad, actually.
No.
It took me a minute because I don't know distances.
I was like,
I was
"You're
like
judging
across
me."
the fucking street. Jesus.
No, he was like already almost to me.
That seems reasonable.
There were no other cars around, and now I'm just standing here awkwardly holding your dog, and he
And you're
didn't
like,
act like concerned, like, oh my God, thank you, that's my dog. He was just like, that's my puppy. And I was like, okay,
Here you go.
guess I'm done
That's
here.
what I'm saying. I'm imagining the garage door opens. He's standing in it, and he's like, "That's my puppy," and you're across the street parked, and you're like, "Cool," and let it go.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
He was
'Cause
like,
I was like,
closer.
had that been me and
And he was
Chelsea, there's
walk-
no way I wouldn't have been like, "What the fuck?" Like that would have happened immediately.
No, he was like walking casually and stuff, and he's like, yeah, that's my puppy. And I was like, okay, be free, puppy. I guess that's how we live here. I don't know, man. I also kind of live in a bad neighborhood, and so I'm like, we let dogs go. I get it. Sometimes they're loose. Maybe it was a fucking tag to get out. And he was like, she's got to learn the neighborhood. I don't know. I don't know.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
Not 20 years ago, there were dogs roaming the streets, and that's just how people kept them.
They didn't have collars.
No, and they're just like, oh yeah, that one lives in that house.
You just paint a fucking sign or print one and put it up on a fence post. This one's missing.
Yeah,
Name is Ronald.
Murphy.
Mutt.
Yeah, but that's my goddamn. Is I almost got a puppy, stole a puppy, let a puppy go again, lost a puppy. I don't know. Whatever happened there.
I feel like your goddamn is that you let that dog go right before that man could grab it from you. Like, what an inconvenience.
He wasn't even reaching for it.
Yeah, that changes it a little bit and how close he was. I get it now.
Yeah.
But the
And
original
I thought
story.
the dog was just going to be like, cool, my dude, that's my guy.
What's up, homie?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to actively escape you or anything.
I've been looking for you. I don't know how I got out here.
Help. Okay. So,
All right, let me have it.
all right. Are you ready for
I'm
this
ready.
week?
175.
Episode 170 motherfucking 5.
That's a milestone.
They're all milestones at this point.
Yeah, but 75 is like, one of, it's like $1.75. It's like
It's
an even
almost
number in my head.
$2.
Except it's not even.
It's a quarter away from $2.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's 25 cents. It's a coin, a ticket, as my youngest says. He thinks a quarter's a ticket.
Oh.
He thinks you need a ticket to get a gumball. So, listen.
My kid thinks all coins are quarters, so
Idiot.
he's like, give me a quarter, and I hand him a dime, and he's like, thanks, Mom. And I'm like, dum-dum. I could teach you, but I won't.
Not today. Okay. So, I got a 6-pager for you this week.
Let me have it. Lay it on me.
I don't mean to brag or anything, but I'm pretty sure I solved a murder.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh, a murder, you say. This is one we got to solve? This ain't solved?
It ain't solved, but I solved it.
Did you
Fucking
update
spoiler alert.
the fucking Murderpedia page?
No, I did not because I legitimately. Okay, you guys, I fucking went crazy, went down some rabbit holes, whatever. Get excited. I'm going to pump you up. And then
Hell
at the
yeah.
very end, my very last bullet point is, where I could be wrong. It's one of those where like you step back and you take a breath and you're like, whoa.
But like also, maybe not.
But also,
I'm excited. Sell
that
me on it.
escalated. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so this week I'm going to tell you about Lynn Amos.
Okay.
In August of
Any relation?
92,
Famous?
Amos?
Amos. Is this cookies?
No.
Damn. Okay.
No. Well, actually, I don't really know that for sure. But this reminds me of Amos from Chicago. Isn't that his name? Mr. Cellophane. Cellophane.
I mean, that sounds familiar, and it sounds like someone from that time period.
I feel like that should make a comeback for names for boys.
Amos?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so Lynn Amos. In August of 1995, Lynn was a 35-year-old single woman living in Washington, D.C.
Okay, hold on.
Yep.
What year?
1995. Okay.
95.
95.
Got it.
Okay.
She's 35?
38
38.
and
Fuck.
95.
This is going to be a rough one. I got it. We got
oh,
it. I got it.
You better put your hat on, chug that coffee,
Okay.
because we've got a fucking murder to solve here. All
Okay.
right?
Okay.
And I do a lot in here. Everybody listening, if you are not on prime time brain mode, this isn't going to be one that you could passively listen to. I need you actively paying attention, taking notes, keeping count on finger what person we're talking about, what's going on. Okay? Are you ready? Are you
Am I
ready?
going to need to like draw a fucking
Yeah.
web?
We need red yarn. My God, I went yellow, green, red. That's what happened in my head just to get there. We need red string, push pens, maps, name tags.
All right. Yeah. Let's,
Okay.
Okay.
We're doing it.
Okay. Hold on.
Solved a fucking murder. Solved it. Not really, but close.
But maybe.
But perhaps I'm a fucking genius.
Maybe. I always knew it.
The police has already like went down this rabbit hole and they're like, no. Or it's totally not relevant and I got one piece of bad information and went off on a whole whatever. Okay.
And they're like, actually, she wasn't related to Famous Amos.
Turns out,
Damn it.
no relation to the cookie guy.
That was my whole key witness.
Without it, it's just shattered. All right. So in August of 1995, Lynn is 38 and she's a single woman living in Washington, D.C.
Okay.
She was described as bright and gregarious.
Ooh.
Which, for the record, never call me gregarious.
Why?
I don't know. I just don't like the word.
I call my cat that all the time.
Well, I mean, his name is Greg. So like,
He's gregarious.
what are you going to do with that, you know? But like, if you're like, she was so gregarious.
What does it even mean?
Does it mean like to be like
Boisterous?
Sociable? Yeah.
Oh, gregarious.
Like friendly, like a social butterfly. I don't fucking know.
Call
I guess
me
I
a
don't-
social butterfly then.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I almost ate the mic. Okay, I'm getting too excited. I'm so excited.
Yeah, you're amping me up here.
Okay, you better get amped.
I'm
'cause
ready.
This shit is crazy.
Okay.
Crazy,
Okay.
I say.
Okay.
Okay, she had a master's degree in business administration.
Oh, okay.
Okay, she's smart too.
Oh, okay. Women can get it too.
That's the sound that my kid's potty makes.
That's weird.
You flush it, the little training potty. Okay, so she's got her master's and she's working as a financial consultant for a management consulting company
Damn.
by the name of Barron's Group LLC.
Okay.
Barron's is the name of this company.
Okay.
Write it down, put a fucking pen mark.
Okay. Barons.
Barron's. Barron's.
Why am I saying what? Like what?
Okay. Her job required her to travel often, and one of the locations that she would travel to was Mexico.
Okay.
And there she would work with large Mexican banks and review their lending practices.
Okay.
All right. In November, Lynn had lunch with a friend by the name of Emily Smart. And at this lunch, she confided in Emily that she had recently been working in Mexico on an investigation with the Mexican equivalent to the Federal Reserve, like the U.S. Federal Reserve.
Okay.
This is how the friend explains it, okay? So Lynn was assigned this task of reviewing the Mexican Federal Reserve's lending practices, and she had uncovered some shady stuff.
Ooh, get it.
Basically, it seemed that the reserve was lending money to bad people or businesses, and articles kind of led you to believe that it had something to do related to drug money,
Okay.
right?
Getting the cartel involved?
Exactly. But they never really said cartel. They just said, funky practices, maybe something to do with drugs. But you think drugs, Mexico, cartel, got it.
Yeah. Shady practices.
And you're talking about like their governmental, money,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, this is like
Shouldn't
an
be corrupt.
official.
Yeah. And she's like, I found some corrupt shit. But Lynn wouldn't really elaborate on what her report was, really about or like what she uncovered or what she found, other than just saying that it was definitely going to be, quote, ugly. Because her friend that she went to lunch with also did the same thing as her, like did financial consulting.
Why wouldn't you tell her everything then?
Well, that's the thing. Like her friend was like, it's really weird because we talk about everything
Yeah.
all the time. But this thing she just kind of was very generic on. And I couldn't really get much out of her. Additionally, she was mentioning to other friends and coworkers that there were aspects of her work lately that had been troubling her. And that she was starting to get these mysterious phone calls at her house where a person would just hang up. Like she'd pick up the phone and they'd hang up.
Don't like that.
Nope. Not nice. I guess while she was in Mexico on work, she would call her house to like check her answering machine to see like who had called, whatever. And there would be like tons of these messages back to back where people would call and hang up. Now,
And they'd leave a message for that? Not like just hang
I
up when
know.
it fucking starts?
that's what I don't understand is like, the only thing I could think of is like calling to see if you're home because
Yeah.
like remember your house, like how you guys would, but that's a very unique scenario where in Aaron's house, if you ever called, you had to leave a message and you would just keep talking until somebody picked up the phone because they were always home, but they never picked up the phone until they knew who it was. And the form of knowing who it was waiting for the message.
It was our poor man's caller ID.
Exactly. And so like, I don't understand the point really of calling and hanging up other than to send the threatening message of uncomfortableness.
Yeah, like I'm watching you or I've
Or-
got my fucking
Yeah.
phone on you.
Exactly. Or to know if they're home, maybe.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, oh, she really didn't pick up, so she must not be home. I don't know. Okay, so shortly after this phone call thing, that kept happening, and she was like telling her coworkers, like, man, I called my house and I have all these messages and it's really kind of like bothering me. It makes me uncomfortable. I don't know what's going on. Shortly after this, she stopped talking with her friends and family about her job at all. Like she was just like, I don't really want to talk about it. It's, fucking out. I don't like it. Right?
Like not going to involve them?
Yeah, I I don't really know if it was like, if it was brought up, she shut it down, or if she just never brought it up and nobody was like, so how's work going?
Yeah.
Any more creepy phone calls? I don't really know the scenario, but her friends and family are like, she stopped talking about work
Weird.
after all of this weird shit was going down, and all of a sudden she fell silent about it.
Yeah.
Until December 10th, when she went out to lunch with a bunch of friends and mentioned that she had seen some dangerous things during her investigation in Mexico. Dangerous. But she, again, would not elaborate more than that.
See, I wouldn't accept that from you, though.
Yeah, I know. I think,
Not putting anything on any of them because maybe their relationship is different. But if you were like, I saw something dangerous, I'd be like, and what was it?
yeah,
Like,
can I
you
have
can't just
more?
fucking say that.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
But I wonder if it's like, maybe there's like security clearance for her job or something, and so they like already understand that she can't talk about it.
maybe.
It's never explained in any of the articles why it was accepted by the friends that she never elaborated.
Yeah. Yeah.
But for whatever reason, she doesn't talk anymore about it.
All right.
Then, the night of December 10th, so after the lunch, that night, Lynn called her work around 10 p.m. to leave a message that she would be late into work the following morning.
Okay. Was she in Mexico on this day?
No, she's in D.C.
Okay.
Washington, D.C.
Also, goddamn, that's a long fucking trip for however often she has to go down there.
I know, right? It really is. I never even thought about that. Because in my mind, I'm like, Mexico, that's like so
30
close.
minutes away.
Yeah, but D.C., oh my God, it's literally across the fucking country.
Yeah,
Continent.
yeah. I'd be like it has to be like a long stint. I'm not going to do that for like a day.
I'm sure it was.
Yeah.
You know?
That just sounds like exhausting.
Also, this townhome she rented. So,
Oh,
like,
okay.
I mean, I was going to say she's young. She's 38. That's still young, but usually people are, like, kind of established by then. But maybe that was her fucking life. Like, I'll go wherever my work takes me.
Yeah,
Like, both places are home to me.
maybe.
Maybe she rented another place
Maybe
in
she
Mexico.
rented a place in Mexico.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really know.
I feel like her work should put her up there.
They probably did.
Yeah. Maybe they rented a house for her.
Yeah, in both places.
Yeah.
Actually, this place in Washington, D.C. is kind of like a big, affluent neighborhood. Like, it's kind of the upper class.
Ooh.
I mean, she was like a financial advisor.
Upper echelon.
Sure, she was making a decent amount of money. She was working
Yeah.
with the Mexican fucking federal government, whatever.
Cartel.
You know.
You said cartel wrong.
Okay, so the night of December 10th, Lynn calls, says, she calls at 9, or
I'm going to be late. I got some shit going on.
yeah, she calls at 10 p.m. to say she's going to be late, which I think is kind of weird. So,
Yeah. Is that like leaving a message? I would just call in the morning and be like, I'm going to be late today.
Okay, so one article said leaving a message. Another article said that she had called and spoke to somebody for 30 minutes.
God damn.
So I'm thinking that it's like a call to your boss.
Yeah.
Like if I
Yeah,
call
okay.
my boss.
Like it's not the office. It
Yeah.
like forwards to their phone
Yeah.
or something.
And maybe she was thinking, I'm just going to leave a message. And they picked up and they talked. I don't really know.
Yeah. Okay.
So now on December 11th at 3:30 a.m.,
Okay.
a call was made that a stylish 19th century row townhouse in Georgetown was on fire.
Where the fuck is Georgetown in compared to all this?
It's in the district of D.C.
Okay.
Of Washington, D.C.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what I was kind of getting at. I don't know why I wrote it like that. I probably literally copied it word for word from the exact article. But basically, this is where I was going to tell you that it's like a fancy, nice townhouse that she was renting.
Okay.
And this is in D.C. Sorry, spoiler alert. Her house is the one that they call on.
Okay. Okay.
So the firefighter...
that would be easier for me to follow if I knew any geography.
Yeah, I wouldn't know it if I didn't literally read
I'm
it.
like, okay, Georgetown, Georgia. That's far.
yeah, yeah. Is it?
Farther than I thought.
Okay, so the firefighters arrive, and it's quickly apparent that only the top level of this townhome is on fire.
Okay.
And so they run upstairs to the bedroom
Yeah.
that the fire is in, and they find that only the bed is on fire, but it's like totally engulfed in flames.
Jesus.
So the firefighters start to put it out, and initially they believe that no one's in the home, like the house is empty.
Yeah.
But as the fire is extinguished, they're shocked to find that Lynn is laying in her bed, unconscious and severely burned, but alive. Escalated.
What the fuck?
Escalated real quick.
How long do you have to be on fire for the fire department to get there and like put it out and then realize that you're in the bed in the fire? Like she was on fire for a long fucking
Yeah,
time.
that bed was a fucking blaze. Okay?
That's fucked up.
But she's alive.
That's fucked up.
She was rushed to the hospital where they found that she sustained third-degree burns on over 85% of her body.
I'm surprised it's 85%.
85%. Over 85%.
I'm
But under
surprised it's
90.
only that.
Isn't that crazy? Oh my
but
God.
under 90, because they would have said 90. It was 86%.
But oh my God, like I can't even imagine 3rd-degree burns on like a patch of my skin.
Yeah.
That's miserable.
No, that's horrific.
Yeah.
Ugh, that poor girl.
Literally horrific. So when she arrived at the hospital, a nurse that was helping Lynn asked her if she knew what had happened to her. Like,
Yeah.
what's going on? Because she was like alert, right? Not like, I'm sure she wasn't like, hey, what's up, nurse? Thanks. You know, she's probably like not really all there. But all Lynn did was shake her head no. But she didn't speak or anything. I don't even know if she could speak. I don't know what.
Well, even if she had known what had happened, like, don't you lose, like, with amnesia or whatever, don't you lose a lot of that after
like
a
with
super
trauma?
traumatic event?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sure. But also, like, there's just not in any fucking state to be answering questions. Not
Yeah.
any fault against the nurse, but
Yeah.
like,
But, I mean, I'm sure the nurse was like, hey, this is unusual.
well, and the nurse is probably like, this lady isn't going to make it. This is my chance to ask
Yeah,
her, like,
yeah.
what's going on?
That sucks.
Isn't that? Okay, so she shakes her head no. 10 days later, on December 21st, Lynn succumbed to her injuries and she dies.
10 days.
This is so insane to me because, like, 85% burns, 10 days. Like, there's no way she's going to survive, right? Do people survive that?
I don't know.
In my mind, it seems like unimaginable to survive.
I was following this chick on TikTok for a while who was in a fucking volcano eruption and she was burned.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I'll send you her thing.
I need that.
She was burned on like a lot of her body. I don't know how much percentage it was or whatever.
Yeah.
But like she talks about her experience and everything. She lost like her family and stuff in it too. It's pretty horrific and pretty
That's
sad.
sad.
Yeah. But she survived.
Yeah. I didn't look up any statistics. And honestly, whenever I hear about burn cases and you throw out a percentage, I can't really comprehend it. But like you
Yeah.
throw out 85, that's pretty easy to like almost her entire body.
That's a B.
Like what? Like just her little sliver of her back that was touching the bed or something that didn't have any
Yeah.
oxygen on it? Like what?
Yeah.
That's a B.
It's almost an A.
Why did that take so long to sink in? Anyway, not good. But so she dies 10 days later.
That's fucked up.
I know. So initially, investigators thought that the fire that caused Lynn's death was caused by an accident. So let me tell you why.
When she's smoking in bed.
Okay, so you're on to something here. So when she arrived at the hospital on the day of the incident, Lynn's blood alcohol level was 0.25, which is 2.5 times
Very drunk.
2.5 times the legal drinking limit. Whatever.
Yeah.
Not that that really matters, but it just tells you how drunk supposedly she is. Additionally, investigators found a Carlton cigarette butt in the bedding that was pushed out onto the deck by the firefighters when they put the blaze out. So they probably, I'm guessing, like, you know,
Wadded everything up.
yeah,
and,
they're
like,
trying to
threw it
get
outside.
rid of shit.
Yeah.
Maybe it's engulfed in flames and they're like, get this the fuck out of here. I don't really know the procedures for putting out a fire, but that's how I imagined it.
I don't either, but I feel like if a blanket was on fire, I wouldn't be like, throw this outside so I can set more shit on fire.
Or
I'd be
maybe
like, let's contain it here.
Maybe they put it out and they were like,
Clearing.
brushing it to like see if there's any more embers or
Under
something,
it or
like
something.
to put
Yeah.
put the rest of it out. I don't really
fair.
know the details, but
Yeah, okay.
there was
Okay.
a cigarette butt in there.
Somewhere, okay. Mm-hmm. Unless it was just like on her balcony where they had thrown it out.
That's what I was thinking.
Like maybe that's where she smokes.
Yeah, exactly. But this led
okay.
the investigators to believe that she had gotten drunk, lit up a smoke, and fell asleep, and the smoking cigarette had caught herself on fire. Mm-hmm. So this
Was there an accelerant? Why was it only the bed?
great question.
Thank you.
But her family questioned this theory heavily because of everything you just said. Like, hold the fuck up.
Yeah.
Like, only her bed was on fire. This is really weird. How long did it have to be smoking? Like, for her to get 85% burns, like, there's some questionable things going on here, right?
Yeah. For it to be completely engulfed in flames and it be the only thing engulfed in flames, it's, I would think.
Suspicious.
Yeah.
And she didn't wake up. Even if you're that drunk, you'd wake up and be like, oh, fuck. And, like, put the cigarette out or something, you know?
I don't know. I know people that do burn their houses down like that or whatever. I mean, I don't know anyone who has done it. But someone on
have
TikTok.
heard
No, I'm
of
just
it.
kidding. Yeah. I could understand that people would do that and not wake up. Like, especially if you're 0.25% alcohol, like that's really hammered.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. It just seems suspicious.
It does seem
Okay.
suspicious.
So the family is questioning it, right? They also claim that she was definitely not a smoker.
Oh.
And her home didn't indicate that she smoked either. Like, there was no matches, lighters, or ashtrays or anything in her home. So this would suggest that somebody else was involved, right? If there's a cigarette butt
Yeah.
somewhere.
Oh my God, now I have like terrifying images in my head. You know, like someone pouring gasoline and they're smoking a cigarette and they're like flicking
yeah,
it.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
That's fucked up.
It's so fucked up. So her best friend, or one of her really good friends, who is a smoker, was like, there's no way that Lynn was a closet smoker, because if you know somebody is a smoker and you're a closet smoker, you always smoke with that friend.
Yeah.
Like, it's not...
Yeah. You're not going to hide it from that person.
Yeah, that's your one time you're going to light up and socialize or whatever.
Yeah.
So she was like, 100% Lynn was not a smoker. That is fucking suspicious. There's something weird going on there.
Also, to closet smokers everywhere, everyone knows.
Yeah.
Everyone knows.
Everyone knows.
Everyone
Who's
knows.
gonna know?
Everyone.
Yeah.
Like, you can't smell it anymore because you smoke.
Yeah, but
like,
we can all smell it.
everyone else can.
Yeah.
And also, do what your heart desires. Don't be a closet smoker. Or do, if that's what keeps it cut down for you. You know, whatever.
Yeah.
Do what your heart tells you.
Okay, so she's not a smoker, right?
Yeah.
Fire and insurance investigators comb over the scene and they find evidence that there's an accelerant present on Lynn's floor, on her mattress, and on her pillow.
Okay.
It was further determined that this accelerant was a mixture of paint thinner, gasoline, and turpentine.
Ugh.
That's some like
Heavy.
juju juice you're about to chuck on somebody. Like, you mix that shit up and you were like, I've got a plan.
That's a concoction.
That is the word I was looking for.
Juju juice.
The investigator made a comment that based on the state that Lynn was in, he would have expected the whole house to have burned down around her.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, exactly. And he was shocked that it hadn't spread to the whole house and that the fire only caused about $15,000 worth of damages. So,
It's an expensive bed.
yeah, I'm sure probably the floor and wall and ceiling, everything around the bed had smoke damage and water damage from the firefighters putting it out.
That too. Yeah.
But like, it didn't wreck the whole house. It wasn't demolished or anything. It was just like that one little spot. And so
Yeah.
they were like, based off of how she looked when we took her out of here, you would have thought the whole fucking house was on fire.
That's insane.
It was evident to the investigators that whoever set this house on fire knew what they were doing and knew how to contain the fire in a way that it didn't damage everything, but only did what it was intended to do. AKA,
That's weird.
only caught her on fire. Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah. It's super weird to have that
First-
knowledge. Yeah.
Okay. First, it's obviously a cartel hitman, right?
Obviously. I
Um,
don't know. You're going to get buckled up for my theory.
Could be wrong.
Yeah.
But also, it's interesting that someone would be concerned about, like, don't want to wreck the rest of the house. Like, you're already fucking lighting someone on fire. What do you
Yeah.
care if the rest of the house catches on fire?
Like, what's the point?
yeah,
The only thing
maybe
I
that
could...
it would be put out sooner.
That's exactly what I was thinking, is like it would alert somebody before the evidence is covered up.
Okay,
And
maybe.
so-
That's the only explanation I would accept.
So, like, if it catches the rest of the house on fire, that's okay. It's just definitely has to do this one spot of the house.
It has to do this spot aggressively before it can spread.
Yeah, and no
Okay.
one can really know,
Okay.
so that we can get rid of evidence.
Yeah.
With this latest development, with like finding the accelerant and everything, Lynn's death changed from accidental to homicide.
Yeah.
Now, because
Fucking obviously.
because investigators initially suspected her death was accidental, the site of the fire was not treated as a crime scene.
Son of a bitch.
Bom, bom, bom. This means that potential key evidence could have been lost in the cleanup of the aftermath.
Yeah, like the cigarette butt.
Yeah, sweep that away, file that away in the trash. No
What's
one
that,
needs any DNA.
It's probably hers. It's not hers. It's probably hers.
I don't even know if they kept the cigarette butt. Like, I don't know what kind of evidence they have.
Yeah.
Additionally, the home was never closed off as a crime scene, and people were allowed to come and go freely into and out of her home.
Okay.
So, hours after the fire, a contractor came and boarded up the windows of the townhome and padlocked the front door. Also, she was renting the townhome, like I said, and by 2 p.m. the same day that she was set on fire, 2 p.m. that day, the owner of the townhouse was inside along with his fiance and an insurance representative, and they were cleaning up the debris, like turning this house around, getting it ready, to fix it up.
What the fuck?
I'm sure it wasn't like nefarious or anything like, well,
Yeah.
it sucks to suck. Nothing like that. But like,
You don't have like anything else to do that day?
the police were not like, hey, we should just, hold off and make sure that this isn't an investigation
Yeah.
or anything like that. They were immediately like, nah, it was an accident.
You're good.
Yep, carry on. So, like, the crime scene was definitely compromised. Her family is obviously upset at the initial ruling and how the crime scene was handled and everything like that.
Yeah.
Her family believes that sometime after midnight on December 11th, so the early morning, her killer broke into Lynn's home by way of either a spare key, since there was no signs of forced entry, or Lynn let the person in and knew who it was, and forced Lynn to drink a considerable amount of alcohol until she passed out.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I guess another thing is that Lynn was not a drinker. Like, her friends were like, she just never drank.
Okay, that was going to be my question, was on the phone call where she may have talked to someone for 30 minutes or left a message being like, yo, I'm going to be late.
Yeah.
A couple of questions there. Was she going to be late because of
Drinking, maybe?
someone being there?
Oh,
and she's
yeah.
like, oh, guys, I'm not going to make it in tomorrow. I'm going to be late. This is a long fucking night of whatever this guy has planned.
Mm-hmm.
Or did she sound drunk? Like,
Yeah.
was she like, fuck this, I'm hammered? Like,
I don't
how did
know.
that go, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, nobody ever really comments. All they said was, like, okay, so she talked for 30 minutes and she seemed happy. She seemed fine. Like, nothing seemed out of sorts or out of place.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But I don't
okay.
know what that means. And that was at 10 o'clock, and she was found at 3:30 a.m.
Yeah.
So, like, there's a lot of time between there for shit to happen.
It's not that. Maybe it's like 4 hours. But
I know,
yeah.
really. But still, it's just, like, weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know if it was normal for her to, like, call out, like, oh, it's going to be a late one. I'll see you in the morning,
Yeah.
later in the morning. I don't know.
It's
You
weird
just wait in
to
the
me.
morning, and then you're like, sorry, I don't feel well.
Yeah,
I'll be
it's
late.
weird to me to call out the night before.
Yeah, maybe that was the company culture. Like, it was normal.
Yeah,
Like, maybe
yeah.
they worked long hours or something. I don't fucking
Although I
know.
have considered it because you're like, then I wouldn't have to wake up in the morning and call.
Yeah, yeah,
You
because I
could
know
just
I'm not going to be in.
Sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe, I
Yeah,
guess.
who knows? But it is kind of weird, right?
Mm-hmm. But she
Okay.
wasn't hammered probably for that phone call.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it. Or at least if she had been drinking by choice, she wasn't far enough along that anybody would suspect anything based off of that phone call.
Yeah.
So the family theorizes that once, she drank enough alcohol to pass out and that she was forced to drink it. And once she was out, the killer doused her in the flammable liquid and set her on fire.
Mm-hmm.
The family attorney believes that this was a professional hit based on the manner of the death and the fact that she had been murdered before she could finish her report on the Mexican banks.
Mm.
So she never actually finished her reports. Okay? She was like at the tail end of it or something. Or
But I
like,
mean,
my
like-
reports are going to be ugly, but like it wasn't finished.
Okay. Was there enough evidence written down or whatever? Like,
I don't know. Okay, also, most of this information is coming from like an Unsolved Mysteries episode. So you know how they just kind of like very lightly summarize it? And then
Yeah.
there was one other article that had a lot more detail that I got a lot of information from, like names and shit, so that I went down my own fucking rabbit hole.
okay.
So that's actually leads us to this perfect point. Like, I had to, that's where it ended. It was like, she fucking,
It
for
was
sure,
a professional.
for sure somebody killed her because she was working on the shady ass report. And I'm like, hold up. I need to know more.
Yeah.
I need to know more.
Oh,
okay?
did you say reports? I
Yeah.
love reports.
I'm going to read this report. So, a quick recap on my theory. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I jumped a little bit, but like, you want to hear my theory, right?
Obviously.
That's why everybody's here, not for the facts, but for the pure speculation.
Pure speculation.
Disclaimer, disclaimer, disclaimer. Barely know what I'm talking about in any of these subjects.
and this is an opinion.
Yep, a total opinion that I'm probably right on.
Probably.
100%. I should fucking send this to the police officer so they can investigate. Like, I have a hot tip.
I did your job for you. You'll appreciate this later when this is solved.
And like I said, it all hinges on one fucking idea that I might be right on, but I'm probably not. Okay. So, and it's a rough, it could, I think the main core of the theory is on the right path, but like all the ancillary bullshit, I'm just kind of throwing in there like, yeah, maybe this happened. Okay.
Ancillary.
Ancillary.
Good word.
Oh,
Somebody went to college.
oh, baby, I'm about to send so many words your way. You got your head on, your hat on, your brain
yeah.
working?
I'm ready. Let's
okay,
do it.
everybody, if you're sleepy, you better perk up and listen because this is where I need your ears.
Okay, buckle up.
Okay?
I'm ready.
Because it's a wild fucking ride.
Okay.
So, a quick recap on my theory, and then I'll go in to explain everything.
Okay.
I believe that Lynn knew her killer and let the person into her home. Mm-hmm. I don't think that it was the Mexican cartel or drug lords or anything like that.
Gasp.
Super gas, because you're in the heart of DC. Why would a fucking cartel person come to the heart of DC and set one random woman on fire and walk away? That seems a little like...
Because he was paid to? But okay, go on.
Okay, but... okay, like you're saying, like a hit, like the cartel paid a hit
He's
person
the
to come.
cartel's hitman.
It just seems so like there had to be more people working on this report than just her, right? Like,
You
why
would
just
think.
her?
Yeah.
I don't know. Seemed a little like fishy to me.
Okay.
I think that I find it odd that at 10 p.m. at night she calls to say that she's going to be late to work. We kind of already discussed this, right?
Agreed.
And like I said, everybody said it sounded like she was fine for the 30-minute chat. Now, to me, no one is at work at 10 p.m. to accept a phone call, so it had to be like she's calling somebody personally, right?
Yeah. Or forwarded to her boss or something. Like
Yeah.
forwarded to whoever.
Like you're not calling the office because nobody's in the office at 10 p.m.
I mean, she could have, and then it would have forwarded to whoever. it
Oh,
forwards
like to her actual phone?
Yeah.
Maybe. So I don't know. But this isn't really that important, but I'm just kind of like, that's really fucking weird. It really bothers me that she called it out at 10 o'clock at night.
It's weird.
Yeah, it's super weird. But maybe she had a close relationship with her boss, whatever, call it. So that makes me kind of think that, like, okay, we're not like, our relationship is pretty ebb and flow. I'm going to tell you things. You're going to tell me things. I feel comfortable enough calling you late at night.
Especially talking for 30 minutes.
Yeah. Like
At 10:30?
Yeah.
It's 11?
Exactly. Like, I'm thinking
go
you
to
got a
bed.
close relationship,
Yeah.
if that's what's going on. So maybe you know some of the things that she's worried about or something like that.
Well, maybe she was telling him finally.
Maybe.
And she's like, I know some dangerous shit. And they're like, but like what? And she's like, I'll tell you
Yeah.
in
You're
the
my
next
boss.
30 minutes.
Yeah. And now I have to go.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking maybe the reason that she called in knowing that she was going to be late the next morning was because that somebody that she let into her house was a coworker or a friend or something, and they were hanging out, maybe shooting the shit over whatever the hell report that they were working on or whatever's going on at work or whatever. There's somebody there that's keeping her, maybe encouraging her to drink. Like, I like to believe that I could get anybody to get drunk with me if I want them to, with enough peer pressure. So it's possible that somebody could have done that to Lynn, and she was like, this is fun. I'm going to call out of work because I know I'm going to be hungover in the morning. Let me just do that real quick, and we'll keep going.
Yeah. Okay.
One
Okay.
theory on why she drank. Don't know if it's true or not. It's really not that important in my overall. I mean, it's pretty fucking important, but I don't have a very good answer.
You're poking your own holes here.
Listen, it gets good. Also, one article said about this whole alcohol thing. One article said that in order for her levels to have been that high, that she would have had to have a drink like every 10 minutes or something ridiculous like that, or every 7 minutes, which is really not likely for somebody who
Doesn't drink.
doesn't drink. So I was thinking another theory for how her blood alcohol content could have gotten so high was like, okay, there was an accelerant thrown on her and she had 85% burns on her body. Did it somehow enter her bloodstream that way? I don't know if that's possible, and I don't know if alcohol is in any of those things that I named off as an accelerant, but is that possible? I don't fucking know.
I'm not a doctor. I don't know. But I think you're onto something in the sense of maybe she wasn't drinking alcohol. Like maybe she was drinking, I don't know. if there's-
Turpentine.
Yeah, but I don't know if there's alcohol in any of those things, or
Yeah.
if they would raise like your blood alcohol level, or just fuck them up to where it's like registers as alcohol or something.
Can't you get drunk on gasoline, or does it just make you sick? I don't know.
I think
Nobody drink it.
I
Don't
think
drink
it just makes you sick. I think you
Okay.
can huff it and you get high.
Yeah, maybe that's what I'm thinking.
like the fumes, but like straight alcohol. What it was gasoline, turpentine, and what?
Paint thinner.
Paint thinner. You can get drunk on paint. You can get something on paint thinner.
High.
Is it high?
Yeah.
What if you drink paint thinner, though?
don't
I
know.
wonder if that would raise your blood alcohol level.
I don't know.
Like,
That's what
what
I'm
if she
thinking.
wasn't drinking alcohol? What if she was drinking something that you're not supposed to drink?
Yeah.
That would get you fucked up.
Yeah. But probably not by choice. I wouldn't
No,
think
no,
that
no,
would be
no,
by
no.
choice. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
what I mean. Is like
Yeah.
not by choice.
Like
but
being
that would
forced
be
to drink it.
Yeah, that would be not a drink every 7 minutes or whatever. You know, I'd just be like, here, you have
Also,
to drink
that
this.
statistic, I did not do the math. I don't really know. I read it in passing in one article. I don't really remember, but I just remember being like, wow, that's a lot of alcohol. I don't really know about that.
Yeah, I
So-
know that 0.25 is like fucking hammered.
Like, you don't
that's
feel
bad.
good.
Yeah,
Like you're drunk.
yeah.
So either way, somehow she gets intoxicated, whether it by choice, whatever.
Yeah.
Now, I'm thinking if the theory is because if she's calling at 10 p.m. in my world, the only reason you're calling out is because you're getting drunk and you know you're going to be hungover or something, or you got a friend coming over and it's going to be a late night. Maybe, like you said, your friend just stopped in and you're like, oh shit, I need to chat with this person. Whatever. So they hang out, they drink, they go to bed. So, like, I'm thinking that Lynn willingly goes to bed. After she falls asleep, said friend or coworker comes in, sets her on fire. So it was a whole setup, right? Like, come over under the ruse of hanging out so that she feels comfortable with me being here. Get her to call in late for whatever reason so that nobody suspects anything when she doesn't show up at work right away.
So you think it's like a coworker?
I think it might be a coworker.
Okay.
I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tell me why. 'Cause
I'm
I don't
gonna
know anything about her coworkers.
I'm going
yet.
to tell you why. So you stick with me now because it's going to get a little confusing.
Okay.
I did some research on Barron's Group LLC, the company that she worked for.
Mm-hmm.
And according to Bloomberg, Barron's basically specializes in economic consulting in developing countries
Mm-hmm.
and the U.S. Agency for International Development.
Okay.
Their contracts, that specific agency, their contracts. The U.S. Agency for International Development, or the USAID, basically gives foreign aid and development assistance. So, like, fucking need help, USAID jumps in and is like, here's some fucking US aid.
Here is some money to get you on your feet.
It literally spells USAID. USAID. Interesting. Very neat. So Barron's is contracted by USAID to audit the foreign aid and assistance. So US goes out and is like, here's some fucking money. Make sure you do whatever the hell you need to do with it. And then they hire Barron's to make sure that they're doing with the money that they're supposed to be doing. Right?
Okay.
There's no corruption.
Yeah.
That's what Barron's does. They audit shit to make
Yeah.
sure that the money is being used as it's intended. Barron's is a subsidiary of a company called KPMG Consulting LLC, meaning that KPMG is the parent company, and then Barron's is a child company. KPMG is basically a financial consulting firm just like Barron's.
Okay.
Now, KPMG has a ton of subsidiaries, which I'm sure isn't that unheard of for like financial advisory, whatever, especially ones that are dealing with governments and shit. It's going to take a lot of fucking companies to make shit happen and
Yeah.
specializations and whatever. So they have a lot of subsidiaries, and one of those subsidiaries is called KPMG Pete Marwick Policy Economics Groups. So I'm going to call it KPMG PEG for Policy Economic Group. Okay.
Okay.
So this would be a sister company to Barron's.
Yes.
Okay. So I found in March of 1997, so this is 2 years after Lynn died, the U.S. Agency for International Development, or USAID, released an organizational conflict of interest report for Barron's because Barron's became a successor in interest to KPMG PEG. So basically their sister company. Essentially what that means is Barron's has now become responsible for their sister company's contracts, right? Any obligations, whatever. They're in the same business, financial auditing, whatever. If KPMG owns a contract with USAID, now Barron's is responsible for completing that contract.
Okay.
Okay? This conflict of interest report states that even though Barron's and KPMG PEG are identified as separate entities, they are literally working in the exact same building. And furthermore, the staff is oftentimes shared between the two companies depending on the task. Why is this a problem? Well, if Barron's is working with USAID on an audit and says, hey, we recommend implementing this change or whatever, and then KPMG PEG could be potentially privy to this information, and they could be favorable to gain a contract to implement the change that Barron's is suggesting.
Okay.
Does that make sense? So
Yeah.
if they're like, hey, by the way, people aren't using your money correctly or whatever, here's how we suggest you implement this change. You need to work with a company to implement this change, and it's going to cost $1 billion. And then all of a sudden, KPMG PEG is like, hey, guys, I can implement that.
I'll do
Skirt.
it for $1 million.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or even Barron's could be suggesting something that only KPMG PEG could implement. Stuff
Okay.
like, it's just a conflict of interest.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And you can't sit there and say like, hey, I'll help you with your contracts and don't worry, we're two separate entities, and literally be in the same exact building.
Yeah.
So the USAID is like, hey, heads the fuck up. Just so you know, from here on out, you need to always treat these companies as one. So if one is auditing, the other cannot be a contractor, right? They can't
Okay.
implement anything,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
And furthermore, when this happened, KPMG PEG stepped up and they were like, we're no longer going to accept USAID contracts, whatever.
Okay.
So they fucking got busted in 1997 for what I'm assuming is kind of shady.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay? Just saying it's a possibility. I don't know if anything ever happened, but it's questionable.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird that that company is doing that, right?
But also, it seems like those two sister companies would be like friendly with each other. Like they're passing work to each other. Like, hey, man.
That's the problem. Yeah.
No, I know, but
Yeah.
then I wouldn't think that someone from like KPMG PEG would target Lynn.
Okay. So just buckle up. So,
okay.
but just a little note. This is kind of a weird note to put it, but I'm going to put it here. The overlying point of this last little message I was just trying to say was basically that during the time that Lynn was working at Barron's, it is possible that the company was partaking in some sort of shady activity.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
Like, it's
yeah.
not the shiniest of company. Allegedly. There's no evidence. I didn't uncover any smoking gun or anything like that. But, like,
Yeah.
questionable.
Also, it could have not been like nefarious or on purpose at all. It was just like oh, it just happened that way.
It just happened. Could be.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like I
could be.
didn't mean to,
Could be.
which I think is how rich people get away with everything.
Exactly.
I didn't
So-
know I couldn't do that.
Who knew you can't shoot somebody in the face for their will? I don't know. Okay, so I also found that in May of 1996, so this is 5 months after Lynn's death, a report was published by Barron's titled, everybody hold on to your hats again, we got a lot of words coming, quote, Minerals Management Service Royalty Gas Marketing Pilot Report. It's a lot of words. A lot of words. I'm about to tell you what everything means, okay? So, Minerals Management Services, or MMS, was a U.S. government agency that managed the nation's natural gas, oil, and other mineral resources.
Okay.
Basically, Barron's was hired by MMS to audit a pilot study where they changed the way that royalties were collected for the natural gas that was collected off of the Gulf of Mexico and somewhere in fucking Wyoming. It was oil in Wyoming, just for the record. But traditionally, royals were paid in cash, meaning that the gas was mined and then sold, and then the money was divided between the owners or the nations or whoever fucking is supposed to get these royalties, right? Mm-hmm. And this MMS government agency is responsible for that.
For paying everybody out.
For paying everybody else. However, there were always arguments over if the gas was sold at the highest price or not and to the right nation and blah, 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 right? There were all these appeals and shit like that. And so they spent a lot of money just trying to justify if the fucking gas was sold right and everybody got the right royalties, right?
Yeah.
So there was this pilot program where royalties were collected in kind. Quote, in kind, meaning that gas was mined and then given to the owners of the, like, you get X amount of gas, I get X amount of gas, and I'm the owners of the royalty, and then I will go sell it on a fair and open market for whatever price I think it should be sold for.
So it's like, do it your damn self.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Basically, instead of money, now people, the fucking
product.
nations are getting the gas. Yeah.
Okay.
The program pilot ran from January 1995 to December 1995.
Okay.
Lynn died December 1995, okay? So it is very likely that this is the project that Lynn was working on because this is Barron's report. Like, they're coming back and saying, hey, we worked with MMS on this fucking pilot program, and here's what we found. We audited the program, and here's what we suggest, okay? So it's very likely that this is the project that she's working on. I don't know this for sure, but my whole theory hinges on this is the fact that this could be the project that she's working on, okay?
Which the police would be able to dispute or
Here's
whatever.
the thing.
Or no, right?
Okay, here's the thing. I don't know what the fuck the police have looked into. It's not on the internet anywhere of clear, like, who's their suspicion, whatever, suspects.
Yeah, yeah.
But they do state in one article at the very last line is that the representatives of the parent company that she worked for, so KPMG, they never say anything about Lynn's death. They're never like, oh my God,
what a tragedy.
Sorry about it. Or, hey, because there's like a reward for her for somebody stepping forward and helping solve her murder.
Yeah.
And it's like on Unsolved Mysteries and everything. And they never say a word. In fact, if they're questioned, they never answer, whatever.
That's kind of fucked up anyway.
It's kind of fucked up in general.
And to not throw out, like, here's a $10,000 bonus part.
Let me add to it.
Yeah,
for one of our
reward.
employers. Yeah.
Please.
So that's what made me dig. I was like, hold up, I want to know more about Barron's because that seems kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so here we are. So it's very likely that she could be working on this pilot program for this royalties in kind project for MMS off the Gulf of Mexico. And that's what she's looking at is like, does this pilot program work? Okay.
Yeah.
The report, which was published after Lynn's death by Barron's, basically says, yep, this
checks out.
Royalties in kind project is like a fucking great idea. You should totally do it. Go implement this 5-year plan. Whatever.
Everything's perfect.
Yes. Love the idea. Now go hire a company to go implement this 5-year plan. We're talking like
Peg?
Millions and billions of dollars. Okay, so So to implement the 5-year plan for MMS to make the royalty in kind pilot a standard royalty practice, MMS hired a, quote, well-known energy consulting group. That's all I can find on who they hired. So I was like, well, I'm just going to Google like U.S. well-known energy consulting groups. KPMG is number 8 on that fucking list. It's number 8.
Okay.
So now I don't know that company was hired to implement this program. But
I'm falling down your hole.
It's pretty fucking likely. And we already know that KPMG and Barron's had a fucking system going.
Symbiotic relationship.
Allegedly. It was audited. They were like, hey, this is a conflict of motherfucking interest. And this is now, I mean, that conflict of interest was 2 years after this fucking report was put out. Like, this was done in 95.
So it could have still been happening.
Actually, it was 96 that this report was published. It was May of 96.
Well, yeah. I mean, she died in December.
Yeah. So, like,
it would make sense that the report would come out a couple months later.
Yeah.
Especially if she wasn't done with it.
Especially if somebody else had to pick it up because she was murdered.
Yeah.
Okay, and so a year later in 97, it comes out like, hey, there's a conflict of interest. it's very likely that they were still doing those nefarious things between like, hey, Barron's will suggest an idea and then KPMG gets hired to implement this program, and we're all going to be happy for it, right? No conflict of interest here, even though we're literally working in the exact same building, and I might also be working for Barron's and KPMG. Pretty fucking shady.
Yeah.
I don't know this for a fact. I'm speculating wildly, but it's kind of lining up. Now, as if that isn't shady enough, in August of 2008, the U.S. government releases a report where it's found that the MMS Oil Marketing Group is insanely corrupt. Like, insanely corrupt. Like, there's this whole scandal where someone blew the whistle and was like, hey, this whole royalty in kind program is so fucking rigged, it's not even funny. It was found that the MMS royalty in kind marketers had developed inappropriate relationships with the reps from the oil companies for preferential treatment, aka guaranteed contracts, instead of selling the gas on the fair and open market, whatever. Even like, you know, hey, you're going to help transport my gas to my customer or whatever. Like, there was all this shady shit, like so many emails and stuff where freaking people knew that they shouldn't be going to these events and stuff. Like, oil companies would be like, hey, come to our company event and come, you know, accept this fucking lavish ass gift, which you're not allowed to do.
Yeah.
Like, it's
That's a bribe.
It's literally a bribe.
Yeah.
And they were taking it, and in the emails they would write like, this stays under the radar, or we don't talk about this party.
Ew.
And
you're in an email. Bitch, do you not understand how the internet works?
Oh my God. And there was so much sexual harassment. It was fucking sane. So MMS, U.S. government company, who is running this royalty in kind project, which was suggested by Barron's, which got implemented by KPMG.
Probably.
Sorry. Allegedly. The KPMG part is allegedly.
Yeah.
Is insanely corrupt.
And sexist.
So, in my theory, in conclusion, my hypothesis is saying, that's before guess. Anyway, okay, is that it's likely that Lynn was working for the company, Barron's, that was planning on double dipping, right? They were going to suggest MMS to make these changes and then hire themselves as KPMG to do those changes. And during the audit of this pilot program, Lynn uncovered all of this shady shit that MMS was doing and was going to reveal this in her report, right? Like, so she's there to audit this whatever in
transaction,
kind.
yeah,
this royalty in kind thing. And Barron's wants this to go through so that KPMG, a.k.a. Barron's, can pick up the contract. But
ew, do you think they put a woman on it because they're like, she'll never find anything. She's dumb.
I don't know. But then Lynn finds, like, hold up, aside from this royalty in kind program maybe not working and kind of being a little, like, rickety. Because what they were trying to find is, like, are you going to make any money from doing it? Do you actually save any money by doing this? Or should we keep it status quo, right? That's what her whole goal was. But in doing so, it's likely that she uncovered all of this fucking corrupt shit of, like, okay, hold up. But, like, you're doing inappropriate things over here for my own U.S. government. Like, my own U.S. government, MMS agency, is doing this. This is insane. I have to report this. And what if, whether it be the U.S. government or whatever, or like my original theory was like a coworker who she was working with and who was
might
close
lose a lot of money if he didn't get this contract.
who also worked with KPMG.
Yeah.
And not just Barron's, was like, no, this contract's going to go through.
And also maybe that person took some kind of bribes or things and is about to be exposed.
Exactly. And Lynn is confiding in this person because she doesn't realize all of the shit that this person's also included in this whole fucking mashup shit. She confides in the wrong person. And somehow, some way, it is determined that Lynn's report can't be published. And so they kill her December, literally the very end of this whole pilot program. She's murdered while she's trying to put this report together, is my theory. And my last bullet is, I could be wrong. Actually, there's one more bullet. I want to know if one of her coworkers smoked Carlton brand cigarettes. Because I feel like that's our only clue as to who was at her fucking house.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy, that rabbit hole that I went into?
That is actually really crazy. And I'm very impressed with
corrupt government agencies. By the way, MMS is no longer a government agency.
Well, that's good.
The U.S. was like, fuck, there's a giant. I put it all in the sources, all of the reports and everything.
Yeah.
But it's literally published by the U.S. government that's like, fuck. Here's all the things we found. They literally have names of people that they interviewed. Like, you know, this person accepted $7,000 as a gift, which isn't alarming at first, except for you find out that they accepted this 132 times over the last 4 years. That's
Goddamn.
pretty excessive.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like company parties, and they'd be like, oh, you know, the title would literally be like tailgate last night or whatever. Like, and it was between supposed contracts. Like, I'm supposed to be able to go out there and be like, hey, everybody bid for this or whatever. And the best price, you know, like it was obviously rigged.
Yeah.
Now,
That's
I'm
fucked
not
up.
saying that I know 100% that that is the report from Barron's that Lynn was working on.
Yeah.
But I do know that Barron's was working in Mexico, off the Gulf of Mexico, on this MMS royalty in kind project. So it's very possible that that could have been
The one that she was working on.
yeah, and the company she was working with when she uncovered all of this shit.
I don't like that they never came out and were like, man, we're so sorry that happened to one of our employees.
That's exactly why I even questioned the company. I would have never went down this rabbit hole and our story would have been 2 pages long.
Yeah.
But I was like, that's really weird. Like,
Yeah.
And I work for a big company. They would at least be like, oh my, there would be like a fucking, as a coworker, my coworker would have said, and they, you know, like, oh man, and when
She
they
was-
interview her in the news.
Okay.
Yeah, but like, no. She did have one coworker who was interviewed in one article, and it was that she had confided in the coworker that she was getting those weird phone calls. And that coworker now has moved on as like upper management in another consulting firm. Probably makes a lot of money. I don't think he's the one who did it. I could be totally fucking wrong. I didn't go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
I was trying though, because if you Google Barron's LLC, I think I typed in scandal or something like that. I don't even remember. It pops up on Paradise Papers as having an offshore account in Barbados. And I was like, okay, but also they have all these subsidiaries and shit. Like, I wouldn't be surprised. But I guess there are valid reasons to have offshore accounts in Barbados, but that's also suspicious too if they don't need one. Like,
Yeah.
why are you hiding money? Like, are you hiding money between your 2 companies, your sister company and that? I don't know. I don't know enough about all this shit. And I'm sure people listening are much more smarter than me. On a majority of this conversation because I had to heavily Google a lot of those things, like what is a royalty in kind, you know?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
And even then I'm like, I fucking kind of get it, but not all the way. Anyway, isn't that fucking crazy?
That is insane.
That's my theory, is her work killed her.
I
There's no way it didn't. And listen, DC, don't come after me. I'm not that smart. But I've listened to so many podcasts where there's so much corruption in Washington, D.C. that it's not even funny.
yeah.
And like, I really honestly truly believe it. Personal note.
Yeah.
I believe a lot of the stuff.
I think that's how a lot of it works, is if you know somebody is the only way that you're going to get ahead. And in that exact instance, it's if you know somebody, then they'll get you a contract to do this thing. Like,
it's
if
so
you
easy
accept-
for that to happen.
Yeah. If
for
you
sure.
accept bribes, or that's for every job. Do you know a person at that job? You're
Yeah.
more likely to get it.
I literally have to take training and classes to say that I will not accept a bribe. I can't take anything over X amount of dollars. And these are the forms of things I'm
Over?
allowed to accept. Yeah, it's like $25 or something
Oh,
like
okay.
that.
I was
if they
like, how
give
much are you allowed to take?
Yeah, it's nothing impressive. Like, I can go to lunch. If, like, a company that I work for, like a supplier, if they're like, hey, we want to take you to lunch, that's okay as long as we're discussing business. But, like, if they're like, hey, I want to take you and your friend to lunch, that's not okay.
Really?
It's considered a bribe. Yeah.
Why?
Because it's
Irrelevant.
outside of work and you're not part of work. And so I'm getting the incentive of my friend getting a free lunch. And so that could be perceived as a bribe. Also, the company I work for is like,
Big time.
Oh, they cover all their fucking bases.
Yeah.
They're like, you took this course, you signed off. It is now your responsibility if you ever fuck anything up.
Yeah, we're not going to take responsibility for you taking bribes. We're
Like,
not
zero
going down
tolerance.
with that ship.
Yeah, zero tolerance. We don't approve of that, which is good. But also, like, you know, they've probably had to pay a lot of lawsuits.
Probably.
I'm sure.
They're like, we're not doing that shit again. Bring in a trainer.
Oh my God. Doesn't this blow your mind?
That's crazy.
What if I'm right? It's all government agency bullshit.
Well-
You think the Mexican drug cartel and it's really the fucking mineral services over in the U.S. fucking shit over for some
Listen.
goddamn oil.
Don't come after us, okay?
Yeah, it's not worth it, really.
We're
It's
on
not.
your side, Mexican
But
cartel.
also, if I just cracked open the case... No! If I just cracked open the case, though, you guys...
cracked it wide open.
Wide open.
Well, we need somebody to take a second look.
Should I email this episode to an investigator? I'll be like, hot tip. They're going to be like, we fucking know, man. You found that all on Google Docs
You
or
think we
whatever.
didn't fucking look?
I literally Googled the shit and it popped up as a PDF. Like, you don't think it's exclusively available to them very easily in a much more accessible database.
But you have to have a very conspiracy-minded brain to get there. So maybe they didn't. Maybe they were just like, uh-oh, SpaghettiOs, sweep it under the rug. Maybe the right detective needs to hear it, you know?
Maybe the detective is in on it.
Maybe the detective who's not in their pocket needs to hear it.
Ooh. Anyway, so if you guys want to check out pictures pertaining to my case, I'm not sure what Critty is going to be able to uncover.
Maybe she's going to crack this case for us, too.
Maybe she can find the cigarette butt. It's going to be all pictures of like screenshots from Unsolved Mysteries episode.
I know, right? Aw.
But go to isgdpodcast.com. While you're there, join our Patreon. For as little as $1, you get an extra episode every month. We have a $10 tier too, where you get access to all of the video behind the scenes. You get to hear us rant for fucking ever. It's totally worth it.
Totally
Highly
worth it.
suggest it. Also, come buy some merch. That'll be great. Support your favorite podcast. Come join us on social media. We're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. And our handle is at ISGD Podcast. On Facebook, you can join us on the goddamn pod group. There's 0 requirements to enter other than you be fucking kind to everybody.
Yep.
And if you'd like to email us, our email is isgdpodcast@gmail.com. And then if you'd like to snail mail us, our P.O. Box is
2764 Spring Valley, California, 91979. Start that with P.O. Box.
I feel like they figured that
Yeah,
out.
you guys know. By
You
now.
know.
Go to the last episode. I said it better.
I don't know why I started laughing like Woody Woodpecker.
You did.
All right, guys.
Bye.
Toodles!